Let me ask you something. If you had 20 million dirhams to deploy, what would you do? Buy the tower that looks stunning or the one that actually grows your capital? Well, in 2020, you could almost buy anything in downtown Dubai and still win. Prime units traded around 2000 dirhams price per square foot. By 2024, luxury launches crossed 4000 dirhams price per square foot. And some branded residences even hit 6000 dirhams price per square foot. That was a market recovering generously. But in 2026, Dubai is no longer forgiving. It's precise. Every tower, every floor, every balcony, your capital only cares about location, scarcity, and execution. Today, 5 ultra-luxury developments are competing for the same pool of global investors. Address Grand Downtown, Bugatti Residences, Mercedes-Benz Places, Enora Residences, and Skyblade. Over the next hour, we'll walk through each tower floor by floor, room by room, number by number, and break down the real investor story behind the glass and gold. They told you the bubble would burst in 2024. Then they said it would pop in 2025. And now we are here in February 2026 and the Dubai Land Department just recorded 262 billion in transaction in a single half year. But look at the skyline. It looks different from what it did 3 years ago. The era of buying anything and making money is dead. In 2026, the market has matured. It's segmented. It's no longer about Dubai. It is about the quadrant. 5 specific projects. Address Grand Downtown, Mercedes-Benz Places, Bugatti Residences, Enora Residences, and Skyblade are fighting for the same square kilometer of air. If you are an investor with 10 million dirhams to 15 million dirhams liquid, you aren't just buying a view, you're buying a financial instrument. Today, we are performing an autopsy on these 5 icons. We're going to look at why one is safe haven, why one is trophy trap, and why one is secret yield king that everyone on Reddit is currently arguing about. So grab your coffee, we are going deep. Before we look at the marble and the infinity pool, let's talk math. In early 2026, correctly priced properties are moving in 45 days. But the supply wave is real. Fitch Rating just confirmed 120,000 units are hitting the market this year alone. So if you're buying commodity luxury, you're in trouble. You are one of 120,000 units, but you buy scarcity, you own the market. Look at these 5 projects. We have mix of old guard reliability, that's Address Grand, and hyper branded ambition. Mercedes and Bugatti, for example. The average price per square feet of this specific quadrant has climbed to 3,800 dirhams price per square foot. But for the branded units, we are seeing numbers as high as 9,000 dirhams price per square foot. Because in 2026, a branded residences is the new golden visa. It's a hedge against global inflation. But Reddit investors are very skeptical. On Reddit, the Bugatti versus Emaar debate is on at all the times. People are asking, is Mercedes logo worth a 40% premium over the Emaar finish? So today we will answer that. See, location isn't just a pin on Google Maps. It's about view preservation. First, let's take Address Grand Downtown. Look at the plot. It's the final piece of the Emaar puzzle located in 0 point of downtown. Because the surrounding plots are already built, your Burj view is locked. In 2026, a guaranteed view is worth a 20% premium. Second, let's take Mercedes-Benz Places, the Hyper Tower. It's sitting around 341 meters. This tower is a landmark and it is positioned in the not downtown zone, right between the old money of DIFC and the new energy of the mall. It's a 65-story statement of precision. Then you have the Bugatti Residences, which we call the Canal King. This is the pivot. It is not the core, it is on the waterfront. Data shows waterfront properties in Business Bay outspace inner city by 22% in appreciation. This is the St. Rupees of Dubai. Fourth is your Enora Residences, Arada's entry into this quadrant. Well, it's boutique. It sits at 210 meters, shorter than the others, but uses a luminous orb. It's designed to steal the spotlight, well, quite literally. It is located in the gentrification corridor between downtown and Business Bay. Then you have the Skyblade, the Edge project. Now this occupies the last corner plot with direct Burj views from even the lower floors. Now this is the most strategic plot for the short-term rental play. It's 2 minutes from the mall, 12 minutes from the opera. Now let's look at the initial comparison, the trophies versus the traps. bedrooms. So let's do a quick fire comparison before we step inside the elevators. The Reddit community is currently split. One user famously posted that Bugatti is the only real wealth preservation asset because there are only 182 units. Well, he might be right. Scarcity is the primary driver of value in 120 unit supply year. But then you have Imar Pursuits who say that Address Grand is the only one with global liquid secondary market. Meaning, if the world ends tomorrow, you can sell an Address unit in 48 hours. So can you sell Bugatti unit that fast? Probably not. This is the tension of 2026 market. Brand ego versus institutional liquidity. Now the plot is the foundation, but the money is made in the floor plans. So next, we are going to dive into the floor by floor. We are going to look at why Mercedes ceiling height of 4.2 meters is changing the game and why the Address Grand Prep Kitchen is a minor detail that adds millions to its value. Floor by floor autopsy is what we call it. You can buy a view from a helicopter, but you live in a layout. In 2026 market, the standard 3-bedroom is dying breed. Investors are now looking for the alpha. If your neighborhood ceiling is 3 meters and yours is 4, your capital is safer. It's that simple. We are going to look at why a kitchen layout in the Address can dictate its resale price 3 years from now and why Bugatti is more than just a toy for billionaires. It's a logistical revolution. Let's start with the German engineering. Now, Mercedes-Benz Places doesn't just sit in the skyline, it breathes. Look at the slab to slab height, 4.2 meters. To give you context, the industry standard in downtown is 3.2. That extra meters creates a psychological sense of infinite space. You know what I mean, right? The layout logic. Notice the wraparound balcony. It's not just for aesthetics, it's a heat shield. By using the sensual purity curves of the car brand, Bugatti has created a natural cooling system for the glass. Inside the living room, there's a radical design. There are no sharp corners, the private pool. Every unit has zero-edge infinity pool on the balcony. That's sort of premium. In 2024, people call this a gimmick. In 2026, it's a requirement for the ultra luxury. But here is the minor detail. The pools use magnetic filtration system that is silent. No humming motors at 2 a.m. That is the Mercedes DNA. If I have to tell you a little bit Reddit inside, one user pointed out that the service charges here might be higher due to the facade maintenance. You know, he's right. But the solar integrated glass we saw earlier offsets this by powering the common areas. You are paying for engineering, not just the luxury. Then Bugatti Residences, the Sky Mansion revolution. If Mercedes is a watch, Bugatti is a supercar you can live in. We are looking at the Rivera Mansion series, 182 units only. The Desavator. This is the heart of the floor plan. It's not just a lift, it's a glass enclosed gallery that brings your vehicle directly into a penthouse. Think about the privacy. You drive into the basement and 60 seconds later, you're into your kitchen. No lobbies, no neighborhoods, no security guards. In 2026, privacy is the ultimate luxury. And for the flooring, we are talking about hand-laid Italian travertine that flows from the inside to the outside deck without a single lip or transition. It makes the 2,000 square feet living room feel like 5,000. The kitchen? No upper cabinets. Why? Because Bugatti owners don't store boxes of cereal. Everything is hidden behind motorized walnut panels. It's a gallery kitchen. The con? The resale pool for a building this specific is tiny. If you need to exit fast, you need a buyer who shares your exact taste. You aren't selling an apartment, you're selling a Bugatti. The Address Grand Downtown, the institutional gold standard. Now let's look at the institutional king. Imar doesn't do car lifts, they do reliability. The floor plan, well, this is for the family man or the conservative investor. The 3-bedroom type B, which is 4,106 square foot, it's a split layout. The master suite is on the east wing and the kids' room is on the west. Kitchen logic, this is where Address wins. You have a show kitchen with a marble island for your guests and a prep kitchen tucked in away. In 2026, if you are spending like 20 million and you don't have a prep kitchen, you have bought a standard apartment and not just a grand one. We are talking about the minor details. The service elevators are oversized. Why does an investor care? Because it means furniture moves and maintenance happen without blocking the residence. residence. To be honest, I would like to call it like a managed asset. This building will have the high secondary market liquidity because it appeals to everyone from a CEO in London to a family in Riyadh. Then you have the Enora and the Skyblade, which is scarcity versus the velocity. Finally, we are looking at challenges. Enora residences. This is a low density, only 4 to 6 units per floor. Compare that to some of downtown buildings with 12 units. When you walk out of your elevator, the hallway feels like private gallery. For the detail, the Lumen series uses smart glass that tints automatically based on the sun's position. Genius, right? It's a wellness building. The air filtration system is hospital grade. For the 2026 buyer, health is a new wealth, and Dubai is focusing over there. Whereas for Skyblade, it is about efficiency. Here your 2-bedroom units are 1,400 square feet. They're compact luxury. Every inch is used. No long dark hallways. The living room is the hub. The Edge Skyblade units come with German branded kitchens and Alexa enabled smart system as standard. It's built for the rental machine. So you buy 5 of these, you don't buy one. You are playing a volume game here. Now the transition to the math. We have seen the marble, we have seen the car lifts, we have seen the ceiling heights. But what does it cost to hold these assets? Next, we are going to talk about the money story. We're going to break down the service charges, the 70-30 payment plan, and brutal reality of capital appreciation in a 120,000 unit supply year. Because a beautiful floor plan is a liability if the math doesn't work. So let's get to your favorite part. Let's talk numbers. So let's stop looking at the marbles and start looking at the ledger. We are in February 2026. The headlines will tell you that the market is stabilizing, which is code for slowing down. Prices appreciation across Dubai has moderated to 5 to 8% down from the 20% sprints of 2024. But here's a secret. It's a high supply market. Branded residences acts as a dam. While generic apartments in Business Bay might see a price correction due to sheer volume of units, these 5 towers are quadrant occupy a niche where supply is effectively zero. There is only one Bugatti tower. There is only one Mercedes-Benz Places. When you buy here, you aren't competing with the 120,000 units. You're competing with the 9,800 new millionaires moving to Dubai this year alone. They don't want real estate. They want brand assurance. Let's look at what that assurance costs. That is your price per square foot. So talking about the entry points, Address Grand Downtown, it was launched around 2,500 to 3,000 dirhams price per square foot. Today in 2026, if we compare the secondary, we are looking at 4,200 dirhams price per square foot. That's a solid 40% appreciation before the doors even open. Why? Because it's Imar managed. It's a blue chip of the quadrant. Then you have the Mercedes-Benz Places. This is the disruptor. The starting prices were around 10 million dirhams because of its 4.2 million ceiling height, which we discussed earlier, and the price per square foot is pushing around 5,000 dirhams. Now you're paying a premium for the engineering, like I mentioned. Then for your Bugatti residences, this is the hedge. Prices start here from 19 million and go up to staggering 750 million dirhams for the Sky Mansions. At 9,000 dirhams price per square foot, this isn't a rental play. This is a capital preservation play. You buy this because you expect the dirham dollar to fluctuate, but you know that Bugatti is a brand which is eternal. Next, Skyblade, the yield king. It's starting at 1.67 million dirhams for studios at 3,800 dirhams price per square foot. It's most accessible, but look at the density. It is built for short-term rental. In 2026, an Address branded studio can fetch you about 1,500 per night. It's just an assumption. A Skyblade unit, which is estimated around 900 dirhams. The ROI here is a staggering 9% net. Now let's get into the payment plan and the liquidity trap. A payment plan can be your best friend or a worst enemy. Most of these towers use 70-30 construction link model. Address Grand, 70% during construction, 30% on handover, which is in Q4 of 2028. Mercedes-Benz, 70-30 handover in December 2026. Now this is the danger zone. If you bought this in 2024, your final 30% is due now. If you haven't secured your mortgage or your liquidity, you are a motivated seller. This is where the smart money buys. From the over-leveraged investor, Enora and Skyblade use 60-40 payment plan. This is more aggressive flip profile. With only 10% down and 50% during construction, you can control a 5 million dirham asset with just 2.5 million of capital. If the property appreciates by 20%, your ROE, which is return on equity, is actually 40%. Now, this is why everybody loves loves Arada and Bengati. It's high leverage, high reward. Now, getting down to the hidden costs and the service charges, well, nobody talks about the service charges until the bill hits. In downtown, the average is around 20 to 25 dirhams price per square foot. Address Grand is expected to be around the same, or even 30 to 35 dirhams price per square foot. You're paying for the 5-star address lifestyle, the valet, the crystal clean infinity pool. Bugatti residences, well, here is the minor detail. Service charges are estimated from 40 to 50 dirham price per square foot. For a 10,000 square feet mansion, you're looking at around 500,000 a year just to keep the lights on and the car lift moving. Then you have the Mercedes-Benz. Because of the solar integrated facade we saw earlier, Bugatti claims that they can keep charges at 25 dirhams price per square foot. If they pull this off, the yield on Mercedes will outperform the address rental. Now, where will you be in 2 years? By 2028, Address Grand will be the grand dame of the district. It will be 100% occupied. Capital appreciation is steady 5% per year, but the Bugatti residences, it will be wobbling good. Its value isn't tied to Dubai's markets, tied to the global 1%. If there are only 182 units and 10,000 billionaires, the prices can go one way. Then the sleeper hit is Enora. Arada is the Sharjah king moving into Dubai. They're hungry, they are over-delivering on finishes to prove a point. In 2028, people who settled for Enora because they couldn't afford the address will find themselves sitting on a 45% capital appreciation or a capital gain because the market finally realized the quality was identical. Now, just to wrap up, the math is clear. You have the safety of the address, the tech of Mercedes, the ego of Bugatti, and the wellness of Enora, and the yield of Skyblade. But a spreadsheet doesn't tell the whole story. To truly understand these projects, you have to look at the persuasion. How do these brands make you feel? Next, we're going on to the psychology of buy. We're going to talk about the emotional premium and the final comparison of which one is actually better for your specific DNA. The battle of the brands is next. So we have spent the last few minutes to an hour talking about the slab heights and the service charges. But let's be real, if investment was only about math, we would all buy index funds and live in a beige box. You are looking at the 5 towers because the emotional premium. When you tell your peers in London, New York or Singapore that you own a Mercedes-Benz place or a Bugatti residences, you aren't just giving them an address. You're communicating your investment DNA. The Bugatti buyer isn't looking for a 7% yield. They're looking for the only. You're buying the right to say their home was designed by the same hands that sculpted the webs. On Reddit, critics call that vanity real estate. But in the ultra high net worth world, vanity is a liquid asset. Branding creates a price floor. Even if the Dubai market dips, a Bugatti branded mansion remains a global collector item. This is the ultimate emotional hedge. I have spent weeks tracking the sentiments, and the crowd is smarter than the developers think. Now, if you see the Address Grand, the safest bet for the landlord if you want a tenant who pays on time and a building that never looks old. Imar is the king. Then you have the Skyblade, the best entry-level luxury. People love the location to the price ratio. It's the young professional's favorite. For the Mercedes-Benz, engineering marvel. Investors are genuinely impressed by the 4.2 million ceilings. They see it as a game changer for Business Bay. But there's a warning. Everybody tells you watch the service charges on the branded towers. You are paying, let's say, 40, 50. But this is the cohesion we need to maintain. You can't have the Bugatti ego without having the Bugatti expense. You have to decide you are buying a business or a trophy. Now it's time to choose. No more maybes. For the conservative wealth protector, your winner is the Address Grand Downtown. It is your institutional, it is your safe, and it is the gold standard of hospitality. It is the safer heaven of 2026. For the tech-forward visionary, your winner is Mercedes-Benz Places. I am going to go on about the ceiling, and the solar integrated facade makes every other building in that area feel like it was built back in 1995. And for the legacy collectors, it's the Bugatti residences. There is no comparison comparison. It is one of one. You're buying the car lift, the Rivera sand, and the French soul. For the wellness-focused individuals, Enora residences. The low density and medical grade air filtration, and the silent winners of the one who values lifespan over loudness. And this project is focused entirely on health and wellness. So for the eat-hungry strategist, Skyblade is the most liquid, highest turning asset in this quadrant. It is a capital turning machine. If you ask me which project is better, I'll tell you. The one that matches your 5-year exit strategy. Don't buy Bugatti if you need to sell in the first 6 months. Don't buy Skyblade if you want a legacy for your children. Totally alters down to your requirement. We have looked at the plots, the slabs, the heights, the payment plans, and the brands. But when you stand on your balcony in 2028 and look out at the skyline of downtown, you won't be thinking about the price per square foot you paid in 2024. You'll be thinking about the clarity of that moment. You'll be thinking about the fact that you saw a 2026 supply surge coming and you chose to stand on the high ground. Well, at Habica Properties, we don't just sell towers, we engineer clarity. We don't want you to chase the golden glass. We want you to choose the tower that matches your investment DNA. Why is moving fast? The quadrant is almost full. The question is, which story are you going to tell? Now, if you want to know more about any of these projects, about downtown or any project, then contact me on the number given below and I'll catch you back in the next video.